Hello, welcome back to The Reading Mama. My name is Heather, and today I thought I would share what I'm reading for Private Eye July. And honestly, I don't remember who's hosting this, so I will tag him below. I know that it's been going along for a long time. I've never participated, and this is my first year, and I'm loving it so far. I'm not necessarily following all the prompts, which I will share right here, just because. But we did. The first one on the top corner is Screen PI, watch a movie or TV show featuring a private eye. And my husband and I have been watching BBC Sherlock. He's never seen it before. He's not impressed, but I enjoy it. So we're borrowing those from the library and enjoying that. And then it's Historic PI, that's like classic one. Fantastic PI being sci-fi or fantasy. Private Eye tie-in, where you read a movie or television tie-in. That one I'm not so sure about. Classic Private Eye would be somebody from the 20s to 60s. International PI, somebody based outside of the US or England. A graphic PI being graphic novel comics. A modern PI, which would be somebody from the 70s or onward. And then a hometown PI, someone near where you've lived. So I'm going to share what I've been reading and what I'm looking forward to and tell you kind of how they fit in the prompts. So let's start out with the ones I've already done. So I have read, where is my list here? I finished Twisted Innocence, which was book 3 in the Moonlighter series. And that is by, who is that by? Terry Blackstock. And that was a fun trilogy of a family who become PIs and have some insane circumstances. Very intense, very much, it's definitely murder involved and crime syndicates and all kinds of things. Takes place in Florida. Children are involved in one of the books, so if that's something you can't handle, then don't do that. It's a little stressful for this mama's heart, but I trusted Terry to get me through because I love Terry Blackstock books. She is new to me this year and I'm absolutely loving them. If you're reading Terry Blackstock, you've got to read her author's notes because they're like a devotional in and of themselves. They're amazing. So this is a Christian private eye thriller series. Then I started another one by Danny Petrie, who I also had never heard of until this month. And I grabbed a book. I just like searched Christian private eye, and it came up with Danny Petrie, and it came up with the Jeopardy Falls trilogy, but it didn't actually come up with it being a trilogy. So I started with book 2, realized, I think this sounds like maybe I should know some things already. So I went and found out, oh, there's a book before. Then I listened through book 1 and I listened through, I'm almost done with book 2. I've been listening to it while I can. That's why my thing's going. And come to find out, book 3 is coming out in September. I hate starting series that aren't finished and I keep accidentally doing it. I really need to look into this more, but I digress. Sorry, there's a strange vehicle at my church. And so I have enjoyed this, again, Christian private eye, based with a family of private eyes who have a darker, not super dark, but darkish background. And the first one was all about art heists and them trying to solve an art heist. And you follow mainly this one brother, and a love interest comes in because they do have romance subplots. Terry Blackstock's is very low on the romance. Danny Petrie's much higher on the romance, a little more than I really care for, honestly. But I still enjoy it and giggly and all that. So those books are One Wrong Move is the first one, and that follows an art heist. Now book 2, which I'm listening to currently, follows another sibling in the group and their love interest. And that's the subplot. But the main plot, you're following a missing person kind of storyline. And I don't know what book 3 is. I'm not even going to look into it. I just know I'm going to have to pick it up. And so that's where I'm at, that I've finished. I'm also in the middle of The Last Policeman, and I don't know who it is. I'll pop a picture here. Last Policeman, I again Googled sci-fi private eye books. It's weird. So basically the world is ending. A comet is coming to destroy the Earth. They know what day it's going to hit. They don't know necessarily the level, but everybody's pretty much planning on dying, and that's going to be the end. And so the world is kind of in chaos. And the only people who are really getting paid at this moment is the military and police. And for whatever reason, the policeman, who is the narrator of this, comes upon a suicide. There's a lot of suicides at this time because everybody's depressed. And he realizes that maybe it is not a suicide. There's some things that are a little funky about it. And that's where I'm at. I can't tell if I like the author's writing or if I don't. because there are certain points where I'm like, this is just annoying. And like, it's very easy for me to fall asleep to. I'm only 4 chapters in, but at the same time, I really want to know what happens. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm only 4 chapters in out of, I think, what was it, 18 chapters. So we'll see how that one turns out. That's one of my fantastical PI books. And then I have a whole lovely bunch of books from the library. This is Private Eye July, completely funded by my library. So let's see. Let's start with the one that I love, Hercule Poirot. He is my classic Private Eye. Absolutely love it. I am working on going through Hercule Poirot's books, and I made a list somewhere, and I went back and just started doing them in order because that's the nerd I am. I don't know where I put that list, but anyways, this is book 2 for Hercule Poirot. So I'm gonna read through this, and hopefully I will enjoy it as much as the other ones. I mean, it's Hercule Poirot. How can you go wrong? So Murder on the Links, it's got a golfing thing, which already is not interesting to me, but we'll see. Hercule Poirot, if you do not know, is a Belgian man who, very much like Sherlock Holmes, uses a lot of deductive reasoning to solve murders, both current, past, and present, or other crimes. And he is a private investigator who is often brought on by Scotland Yard or other entities. He is the main person in Death on the Nile and Murder on the Orient Express, which recently had some popular things. So I'm gonna enjoy that one. I did already start this, and I'm actually taking it with me. We're going out of town and take it with me to read before bed, because why not? This is a middle grade Private Eye, and I already know that I'm bawling my eyes out. I also know I'm going to absolutely love it. This is written about a Cherokee family, and it talks on the, let me just read you the caveat at the beginning of it. So it's dedicated to our missing. May they find their way home. And says it's a work of fiction, but the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls epidemic unfortunately is not. So it's already heartbreaking. Her mother is missing. And there has just been some really beautiful sentences so far, and I'm only a few chapters in, and I just know I love it. Like, and laughter really can make you feel better about almost anything, and it's meant for middle grade, so I'm not sure how intense it's gonna get. But I've already been crying like heartfelt tears in the first few minutes, so I'm excited sounds like the wrong word, but I'm eager to read this from Ginger Reno, and it just sounds very interesting. I read another book about that topic, and it is heartbreaking and something that requires prayer that it will cease. Then for an international PI, I have the #1 Ladies Agency by Alexander McCall Smith, and I know this was really popular a few years ago, and I heard about it. I think it takes place in South Africa, so that's all I know about it. So we'll find out. And then classic also, Sherlock Holmes. I accidentally got the junior edition, so I'm guessing these are probably abridged, and that's not gonna fly for me. I don't like abridged books, but hopefully I can get my hands on the actual Sherlock Holmes, or I'll just do a digital copy on e-books, whatever. I picked up this. I don't really remember what I read about it. I think it was a fantasy Private Eye, so it's called The Shock of Night by Patrick Carr. If you know something about it, drop it below, because honestly, I think I just grabbed this from the library just on a whim, seeing what things would come in time. It says, when one man is brutally murdered and the priest he works for mortally wounded, Willet Dura, reeve to the king of Boonard, what's a reeve? I don't know, is called to investigate. As he begins to question the dying priest, the man pulls Willet close and screams in a foreign language. Then he dies without another word. So I don't know. I have no clue anything about this other than it's clearly a trilogy or series of some sort. It's labeled sci-fi fantasy on the side, and it has a Private Eye kind of thing going on. So we'll see. I don't know. Who knows? I also grabbed The Naturals finally. I have been wanting to read this for a while, so I grabbed this from the library. We'll see if I have time to read it. To catch a serial killer, you have to think like one. That's all I know. I know it's very popular. If you know more about it, don't tell me. I like going in blind. But again, it is a series, and you know me, I typically binge a series. And then last, I picked up another middle grade. At least I think it was labeled for middle grade. It says ages 8 and up. I'm gonna guess it's probably, I'm gonna say it needs to be older, but we'll see. It's called Jinxed by Amy McCullough, and I know nothing about it other than it was middle grade private investigator, and that's what I had looked for. So it's got a fun cover. It says Lacey Chu has always dreamed of working as an engineer for Moncha, the biggest tech firm in the world and the company behind the Baku, a customizable pet with all the capabilities of a smartphone. What? But when Lacey is rejected by the elite academy that promises that future, she's crushed. One night, Lacey comes across a broken form of a highly advanced Baku. After Lacey repairs it, the cat-shaped Baku she calls Jinx opens its eyes and somehow gets her into her dream school. But Jinx is different from any other Baku she's ever seen. He seems real. I have no idea what is going on. I don't know if it's actually going to have a private eye kind of thing. It says a little bit of Golden Compass and all the adventure. Who knows? This feels like it maybe end up a DNF, but I don't know. And then last but not least, this is not at all a private eye book, but it kind of is because it's a detective kind of thing. But I'm going to read Case for Christ for Kids. I've read Case for Christ a couple years ago, absolutely loved it, and I'm the person who creates our vacation Bible schools for our church, and I just pray and God gives me an idea, and then I, with God's help, make it happen. And he gave me the idea earlier this year to do Case for Christ for Kids and do a detective theme next year. And then after God showed me that idea, I walked into a Goodwill and stumbled upon this book. So yeah, talk about providence. And so I'm going to read through this, hopefully this month, to start my preparations for Vacation Bible School next year. So those are my private eye library. Okay, I do on the one. Library inspired bound books. And I'm looking forward to it. On the Private Eye July thing, the things I'm not going to be hitting is the Private Eye tie-in, which is read a movie or television tie-in or novelization featuring a private eye. I'm not a TV person, so I don't think that's going to happen. I'm also not going to do the comic one, and probably not the hometown one, unless you are a Hoosier and know a great private eye book that takes place in Indiana. Maybe I have to expand it to the Midwest. I'm sure there's one in Chicago, right? But I don't know of any off the top of my head. So if you have that, drop it below. Otherwise, I should be able to hit the other ones on there. Sorry, it's all a mess here. And so that's what's going on for Private Eye July in this house, and I am loving it so far. We'll see how many of these physical books I actually can get to, along with my other stack of books. But thank you so much for watching, and have a blessed day.